Dr. Kemi, lawyer, what I wanted to tell you about the UTME, I said I will tell my story very soon. You've seen the video I did. I did a video about my dad during that time when my father died in April to kind of talk about my grievance of how my son didn't go to university in Nigeria. You see, if your father is a senior lecturer at University of Ibadan for years, and he was also governor of the state, I don't think I should be begging anyone to get my child an admission into their school. I know some of you say, oh, yeah, everybody has to go through the same route. But my son was 3 points short of getting to University of Ibadan on the UTME. I went to University of Ibadan to beg the registrar. I wrote, I called, I did a lot before I called my father into it. My father's like, oh, no. I don't want to do that. They'll use it against you. Like, to think that the grandchild of a governor was begging to get into a school, I thought that was crazy. Anyway, my father's dead and gone. But I wanted to tell you about my story, which was pretty much on the video. I'll attach it to this video. Watch it. My son said, is it usually that Nigerians want to come to America to study? You don't see an American coming to Nigeria to study. It's usually the other way around. That's what he told Daddy Freeze when he was on Daddy Freeze's show to promote his music. My child wanted to study theater arts at the oldest university in Nigeria. Today he's a model, he's a singer, he's a rapper, writer, and he's created his own arts just by doing it himself. He went on to get an online degree in graphic design. But it could have been better if he had gotten that university degree. But they lost him. And I said to myself, when my son wins a Grammy, okay, we will call UI out. At the end of the day, I want to thank Daddy Freeze. And also, just to let you guys know, I've never said this before. When I left Nigeria in 2023, January 1st, sometimes in 2023, the University of Ibadan Mass Communications Department contacted me online. Just in case they're watching, and I hope they are. I didn't reply your emails because of what they did to my son. They could not accept my son for 3 UTME points. However, you wanted me to be a guest lecturer. A lecturer, part-time at the university, but when you heard I was outside Nigeria, you would love me to be a guest lecturer to teach the students on Zoom. I declined the money, the offer, everything because of what happened to my child. And I'm sure the person that was contacting me, the dean of the mass comms department, did not even know anything about my son's story. But it is what it is, okay? It is what it is. Jamb should not even exist, and the UTME is a waste of time. Okay, if 3 points cost somebody that, one day they might become US president, and they'll say they were denied the University of Ibadan. How does that sound to you guys? Okay. And of course, my father, who didn't want to help to get in there. So it doesn't matter. Like I said, it is what it is. My son is doing well in America, his country. But learn from it. And those of you who are Gen Z, it is important to know that you were only babies or you were only like teenagers when an employee at Jamb actually stole like 30 million. I was that journalist that covered it. And that employee said there was a snake in the building that actually swallowed the money. Yeah, you can Google it. Jamb money swallowed by a snake. It is full of corruption. It is full of corruption. It is full of mismanagement, and Jamb should be abolished altogether in the UTME. Children can go from secondary school straight to university, like US, UK, and everywhere else. If they have to take aptitude tests, not in their own country. End Jamb, end UTME. Thank you. Watch the video. Dr. Kemi, lawyer, Kemi Talks Life. In this chapter, it relates to my dad in a way. I should have inserted it to one of those videos, but I really didn't have time. Almost all those videos were 10 minutes long, and it's very tiring. You can't watch it all day long. So this is a very sad story, and this is one of the reasons why my son no longer talked to my dad. Since we left Ibadan in 2019, he never spoke to my dad one time. Each time my dad called us in Lagos and asked for him or where he was, I didn't say his location, his whereabouts, or what he was doing, because I knew my father carried that very big negative energy that can spoil all his plans. But they already did that. They brought a snake to his room. There was just so much. I wrote them as write-ups on Facebook, so you can go read them on Facebook. They had a snake in his room. They had a coffin under his bed. Just a lot of things destroyed his whole path in Nigeria. So I had to get him out of the country. We all had to leave right away. This picture is the day that KJ found out that he wouldn't be able to go to the Department of Theater Arts in the University of Ibadan. UTME just came out in 2018 and he missed the point by 3 points. So he missed the UTME points by 3 points, so University of Ibadan did not accept him. My father lectured at University of Ibadan from the moment I was born. Before I was born, my dad was a lecturer in UI for years, and he still has a pension there that he collected every month. He was a senior lecturer at the Department of Mathematics, and he was very prominent because at the same time my dad was a lecturer, he was also commissioner for education, commissioner for local government, chieftaincy affairs. My father did commissioner a lot of times since before I was born, However, it was like when he became commissioner for education, that's when he was also a lecturer at the same time. And there was a scandal at that time where the governor wanted to remove him, Governor Oluwole Rotimi, who was like, I think he was after Adeyinka Adebayo. And anyway, I remember my sister and I wrote a letter to Oluwole Rotimi telling him that he should not fire our dad and all that. There are many stories I have to tell you about my father. Many good memories, but he soured it the moment he brought Ronke into our family and destroyed our family unit. And I just always think if my mother and father were together, we could have been the perfect family. And my mother made many mistakes too, They don't last forever. We all have to leave one day, but this really saddened me. So my son found out he wasn't going to UI. He wanted to study music and theater arts, so they didn't accept him. So my dad said, he should go to the other school. His first choice was UI, the second was Polytechnic Ibadan, and the third was one other school. I don't know the name of the school again. But that Polytechnic Ibadan was mass communications. My dad didn't want to call UI. I said, Daddy, please, can you call the register? I went to UI with my son. I begged the register, 3 points, please now. I'm Kemi, lawyer, the famous journalist. I didn't even mention my dad's name, and they said they couldn't do anything. That's my son's expression when we came back. So what happened next was I called my dad. Dad, you were a lecturer there. You were governor of this state. Please just call that register to accept KG. 3 points. This is Nigeria. You can do that. No, I don't want to call over there. They'll use it against you in the future. So what? When he graduates and becomes some big Grammy Award winner, they'll say, oh, he didn't pass with 3 points. We took him. You can do this for us. My father refused. Meanwhile, Funke's children, the Omitowoju kids, they were always empowering those ones. Those ones traveled to Dubai. They were doing well. They were in private universities. Bell's University, this one. And KJ never went to university. So they told me to go to the Polytechnic. When we got there, apparently my son and I met with the rector there. My father was the first rector of Ibadan Polytechnic. So the rector there, I want to pay me. I want Papa Oluloyo to pay me. The man said the applications had closed and that they will open their website for me in the morning. When I enter the website, I should register KJ, make the 10,000 naira payment, and they'll process the rest. That morning when I woke up, my son came to me and said, Mommy, I don't want to go to Polytechnic. I don't want to study mass communications anymore. I want to study theater arts. So KJ gave up. And a father like that, who never empowers anyone, extended that to his grandchild. Why my own child? Why not the others? Why not Funke's children that they're always empowering, doing well? I just lived with it. He said he wanted to do music, so I went to prison. While I was there, KJ started saving money with the child support his father gave him. His father came back to Nigeria and he gave him some money. KJ started saving, and next thing you know, he bought musical equipment. The laptop I got him, he started recording in the room, and that's when he recorded Money on My Mind, the beautiful song that he remixed with YNW Melly's whatever. So the next thing, when I came out of prison, this is all the stuff he bought. He'll be recording in the room. And 32 FM. That's the first people we're going to thank when we win the Grammy. 32 FM Ibadan, Kiki said I should bring KJ. I said, Kiki, KJ, I'm doing a meet and greet at the mall, and KJ will be the only performer and all that. We want to come and promote the meets and greets. So we went to the studios, and KJ was the guest, and Kiki had him. One song was full of curses, and KJ said, I can edit it. I need you to play it. So look at how Kiki's looking at him. He's editing the song right in the studio of the recording studio. That's MC Ambassador, who was his temporary manager at the time. He's a family friend of ours. And they were watching KJ edit the song, and they played the song. And then he did his interview. You can go to his YouTube to see the interview. KJ is on TikTok. If you like fun, follow him at RichKJT on TikTok. Please, everybody follow him there. Because he just plays there with his friends and roommates, and he does a lot of listening to music and reviewing music. He was a music blogger in Canada with me. He started blogging very early. He was honored at Yahoo Canada's Kid Blogger of the Year. So KJ continued, and we moved to Lagos. When we got to Lagos, I said, let's go and see Freeze. We didn't have an appointment. We didn't pay any money. The big money they paid to appear on Cool FM. I just showed up there. Okay, I was going to dinner with my lawyer in Victoria Land. So I said, to my lawyer, I said, Dayo, let's stop at Cool FM. I want to crash that studio. Freeze is on the air. So what did I do? I got to the gates. You know how hard it is to get into Cool FM, security and all. Then I went to Freeze and said, someone's here. She has an appointment. She's like, her name is Dr. Kemi. Freeze send her up here. It's like crashing Freeze show. We had a great show. And Freeze and I made another appointment for KJ to come in January and do show proper for the artists. Daddy Freeze launched my son's music on the top radio station in Nigeria. Imagine. If you do bad things to people, God will elevate them. So KJ goes to Freeze program. This was the one that we crashed. Notice his shirt is red. Okay, notice this one is purple. This was the show proper when he came back to see Freeze on the show and did the interview and all. This is an Instagram story that he wrote. Happy 45th birthday to my big bro, Daddy Free, who brought me to Cool FM and played my music. And Freeze retweeted it. There's some great people out there. And Freeze, made him do that. When he got to America, many of you don't know, you can follow KJ at RichKJT Music on Instagram and on Facebook and on Twitter. But when he got to America, he started doing fashion shows, everything. They rejected him in Lagos Fashion Week and all that because it's Kemi Olunloyo's son. And the boy was, and then remember how Mohbad went to tell everyone in the industry not to work with him. I don't want to go through that again, but you see what happens. What comes around goes around. At the end of the day, when KJ got to America, I told him to go volunteer for tailors and, photographers and be doing model for them for no money. And next thing you know, they discovered him. My son was at New York Fashion Week, DC Fashion Week, Baltimore Fashion Week. He was on everything. And then the Met Gala, he was over there as well. And this is DC Fashion Week, and this is my dear mom and my mentor for broadcasting, Auntie Anike Agbaje Williams, the first woman to broadcast in Nigeria. And I used to go to her studio when I was 10 years old. After we left, we came for quiz shows. And instead of going to the school bus, I quickly go and see her. She was the first woman to cast news in Nigeria. We met her at her mom, and she was convincing KJ to go for that mass comm at the time. But he didn't want to. Rest in peace, Mrs. Agbaje Williams. She died 2 months ago. Thanks for listening, everyone.